Chain 4. The linear income trap. The fourth chain is the one that feels most like common sense and is actually the most mathematically limiting belief in the entire poverty system. Time equals money. You need more money, so you trade more time. Extra shifts, second job, more hours. The math seems obvious, but here is the fatal flaw built directly into that equation. Every human being on this planet operates with the same fixed daily budget of 24 hours. That ceiling cannot be negotiated, extended, or worked around. Once you have committed every available hour to trading time for dollars, you have hit the absolute mathematical limit of what this model can produce. There is no next level. There is no additional effort that breaks through, because the ceiling is time itself. Meanwhile, inflation is quietly eroding the value of every dollar earned. Prices for housing, groceries, transportation, and utilities rise continuously. But wages are famously sticky. They resist upward movement even as the cost of everything those wages must cover keeps climbing. The result? A worker puts in more hours this year than last, receives the same rate or a modest raise, and still finds themselves effectively poorer, because their purchasing power has been silently consumed by rising prices. They worked harder and fell further behind at the same time. Escaping this trap requires a fundamentally different approach to how value is created. Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert, articulated a concept called the skill stack. Rather than becoming the single best person in the world at one specific skill, which is extraordinarily difficult, you combine multiple competent skills to create a combination the market has very few alternatives for. Adams was not the world's greatest artist, writer, or businessman individually, but combining all three created something the market valued enormously. Skill stack exponentially, not additively. The combination produces value far greater than any single skill could generate alone, and that value is no longer capped by a 24-hour ceiling. Chain 5. Social gravity. The fifth chain is the most painful to discuss and the most socially dangerous to acknowledge, because it involves the people closest to you. Environment shapes behavior more powerfully than intention, more powerfully than motivation, and more powerfully than most people are comfortable admitting. The science behind this is rooted in mirror neurons, specialized brain cells that cause humans to unconsciously absorb, imitate, and synchronize with the behavioral and emotional patterns of the people they spend the most time around. You do not just observe the people in your environment, you gradually become a biological reflection of them. Here is where it gets interesting. When the people surrounding you have accepted financial struggle as a permanent condition, that acceptance becomes the atmosphere you breathe daily. Not out of malice, out of something more complex. Your upward movement implicitly challenges the narrative that escape is impossible. If you succeed, it raises an uncomfortable question for everyone who stopped trying. And so the people who love you most sometimes become the most effective anchors, discouraging the extra effort, mocking the ambition, reframing your progress as arrogance. This is what researchers call the crab bucket effect, and it operates quietly in almost every community that has been inside the poverty loop long enough for it to feel like reality rather than a trap. The solution is not abandoning your community. It is deliberately expanding your circle of influence through what you consume. Books, biographies, and podcasts featuring minds like Charlie Munger, Einstein, and others who built something allow you to hack your mirror neuron system intentionally. You begin absorbing different patterns, different assumptions, and different definitions of what is possible. And that internal shift is where every external change eventually begins.